Alright, I was warned to be recording when I log in, so I guess let's see what's going on. Alright. Well, I see something out there, but it's night. Let's make it day and see what's out there. That, what is that? Oh no. Yep. That's there. That is a very tall weasel storm going on. Well, I think we're going to leave that alone for the moment. Maybe make sure there's nothing going on up top or anything like that, but... Alrighty. Nope, nothing there. Yeah, that's a big statue. I guess I should say while I'm here, these are my prototypes of the mud maker here and a simple crafting setup so that I can make some dispensers. I set it up so that this would craft a whole bunch of bows and then it'd feed it into here, which would then craft our dispensers. So that's all that this is, and really simple setup. I just flip the switch and it just sends the signal through one at a time. So that's about it for that. Well, I guess I should say hello everybody and welcome back to Echocraft. I am hoping that today I can finally get to my shops. So let me just get some things in order and we will head on over to the shopping district. Well, I started trying to lay it out and I may have gotten a little carried away, so here's what I've got so far. We've got the mud making machine here, and I wanted parts of it to be visible. Most of this working section here, it's only really going to flash, but you know, it's cool anyway. I still need a couple pieces of glass here, and then I'll have a service entrance here, so I'll just put a door, and then this is just a basic entrance, some space for windows, and trying to keep the style with what the buildings are around this area. So we got a lot of brick buildings, and I wanted to go with a different color, which is why I made this mud machine in the first place. So similar to the corners of this red building here, I'm trying to add some depth by putting in some walls. Every other one, we'll see how that works out. And then I want to try and texture this a little bit, so I'm looking at maybe just leaving some regular packed mud. Here, I'm not sure. I may look to see if I can find another block that will match this a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Other than that, we've got a very tight stairway going up this way to where we would place our dirt. And then some just chests here so that people can store extra stuff if they need to, and then some stairs coming up so that we can come into this area and take out the mud. So that's the current design. I need to put some immovable blocks here so that we don't break the system, and I may need to put in a button somewhere basically to do a reset or force a push so that it would lift and push these blocks here. So probably still be adding a little bit of redstone, but I should have room to do that. If I grab a signal somewhere, probably over in this area, and pass it over into here. So yeah, I got a big service area, a high ceiling here, and then trying to figure out exactly how much space I need. And I lowered this block down. I realized that there was no other blocks touching this, so that it should be safe. So this wool block used to be one higher, and I just dropped it down one and threw the redstone on top. That way I can drop the floor here, which is basically where my second shop is going to be. It's going to come up these stairs here and then exist above this space and that space over there. This here, where the mud gets pushed up higher so that we can accommodate for more, that's just going to remain a tall silo shape. And so the shop is just going to wrap around that space. So we should have plenty of room to set up a shop, and I think it'll work well. I've just run out of materials for the moment, so I was just trying to put in some things, come up with some plans. I need to find some immovable blocks I like, versus just putting in obsidian. We'll see what I put in there. And yeah, so once I get some more wheat, I'll be able to get some more mud blocks, mud bricks, and continue doing this build. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and we'll come back when I have more materials and probably more progress. Well, I have to say it's been probably about a month since that last clip was done, and then I ran out of time working on the video and went with my family on vacation. So been a little busy, haven't had a lot of time to get on the server until recently. So I have made progress. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So I've been able to work on this a section at a time. In between each section, just having to go and get more wheat to make more mud, and just, yeah, it's been time consuming because I don't have a giant wheat farm yet. I will probably make a better one later, especially since I've got the mud machine in here doing all of its work. But we put in windows, we've got most of this structure in place. We just need to work on this last section over here. But let's take a quick look at the interior. Not that there's going to be a whole lot to see, but we put in some doors, trap doors, to elongate those doors. Of course, the windows, I used some tough blocks in order to get a nice looking floor. And then of course we've got the mud machine, all the pieces of glass in place, and I put a door in. It's not really going to keep anybody out, but it's just meant to represent, hey, you really shouldn't be back here unless you know what you're doing. And then of course we got the stairs going up. We ended up removing the chests that were here and just put an ender chest, so people can still come in here, make mud. And then up here there is an additional observation area, so you can kind of just see more of the machine. This was just, what do I do with this space? And that's what I ended up doing. Honestly, I just needed to get it out far enough to allow the floor above. And then over here, we've got, of course, the area where we pick up the mud. I plan on putting some stairs going up at least one level more, maybe two. We'll see how I build up this section and go from there. But let's go around, and we're going to go out through the outside instead of climbing up and over the building, because we're just going to take a look at more of this. So you can see I continued the trend of putting in the wall blocks every other block all the way up to the roof line there. And then over here I've got that started as well. And for the immovable blocks, I believe these should work. I put in barrels. So they're just a decent enough color to go in here. They don't look the best, but I needed something there, especially since I made this build as tight as I did. And then over here, I didn't put any of those wall blocks until you get up to the second layer here. That's where the building's going to continue to go up. And then over here on this corner is where I did it on this side. Over here, it wouldn't have ended up looking right because the wall blocks would have connected completely over to this wall. So I just left this the way that it is. As you can see, we've got this section pretty much done. And then we put a little display case down here by the stairs, kind of to signify, hey, here's what you're going to find in this store, especially since I have it going up the stairs instead of being on ground level, mostly because there's just too much stuff here and I didn't want to bury it all further down in order to make this all work like that. So I went ahead and put in the monitor and keyboard that I'm going to start selling in the shop, and there's probably some other things that I will end up making to sell in the shop as well. But the shop needs a little bit more interior decorating. I did put in lights. I went with a nice fluorescent tube look in various spots and set up some shelving and some chests just to be able to sell stuff when I actually have some things. At the moment, I have no stock because I need to copy it and get it all in place. And I just realized that those are all the way at the top, but they still work because those are slabs. So I'm glad those are still accessible, but definitely didn't think about that when I was putting them in place. I suppose if they didn't work, I would have had to move them down, everything down one. I would have had like the undershelving and then the regular stock right there or something along those lines. I would have figured it out. So yeah, that's pretty much the interior here. I went with spruce and dark oak, just alternating and mixing them in to make a wood floor in here. So a little rustic to go with the building. And then I wanted the doors to stand out, so I went with mangrove. And then, as I said, the roof is slabs, and I went with the tuff on that as well. So we've got tuff down at the bottom and tuff at the top. I thought it looked really good. And a little bit different than the other roofs going on up here. So this one's a wood one, this one's just a deep slate, and then I did something completely different. So just trying to break up the colors and whatnot. I think I will put up some additional structure pieces up here, probably like an AC unit or two up here, but I'm going to wait until I get this section done here, close this in, and figure out how tall that's going to go. So hopefully that works out well. And then in between all of this, I've been busy back at my base trying to work on the next section of that while I waited for the wheat to grow. So let's head on over to my base and see what I've been working on. Well, here we are back at the base. Of course, I've still got my giant weasel storm sitting there. At some point, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to tear that down and store the blocks or figure something out with it, but it's not going to be able to stay forever. But over here, you remember I was talking about in the last episode clearing out this space. And I went ahead and put some base structures in and got some designs for what I wanted, which was some wind turbines. Now, this island needs some form of electricity. So to do that, I figured I'd harness what would be like the breeze coming off of the ocean here, coming along this section, which is the wider section, and turning these turbines, which would generate electricity. So that's what I've done, and I put some kind of like antennas at the top. So these will serve additional function. Lore-wise, I'm not going to try and come up with anything at the moment for what they are, but I thought the antennas were appropriate. Plus, they provide the light necessary to keep these from being spawnable. And then down below, I actually utilized some tricks that I was taught watching a video by Enigma Man. So I just wanted to show that off. And what he showed in his video was using banners and hoppers. And when you do that, when the banners move, you can get this kind of like piston look going on. So it looks like this piece here at the bottom retreats up and goes across like that. And then they all come back down as the banner comes back into normal position. So that just adds a little bit of movement. I went ahead and put that on all sides So basically what this is supposed to show is that these should be moving if that were possible in Minecraft. And they are causing some pistons to go, and this motion here is what's going to be generating the electricity within these structures here. I'm going to still have to figure out what to make it look like in order to get the power from the 5 units that I'm going to build here and bring it over to the village over that way. Now, I still have 3 more of these to go. I just am not focused on them at the moment. I've been trying to get the shop built, and so building these has just been what I've been doing to pass the time while I'm waiting for the wheat to grow. So yeah, 5 of these units, and then the next thing that I want to do over in this area, I think I'm going to work on clearing more of this forest and then laying out some tiers of this hill here. And what I'm going to try and build is probably a big wheat farm and a path. So the path is going to weave through the wheat fields and head that direction. Somewhere in here is going to have to be a farmhouse. And then I want all these wheat fields so that I can have tons and tons of wheat. Even though we've already got somebody who has a crazy huge wheat field on the server, I'm going to get my own because I think it's going to look cool. And then it's also going to serve a function for me. Beyond that, I don't know what my plans are going to be next. Oh, and one thing I did forget to mention. While I was on vacation, I ended up ordering a new microphone. So this is actually the clips since my vacation are all on a new microphone, and hopefully it sounds a little bit better. We're getting a little bit better capture, but we'll find out because this is my first set of recordings that I've done, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to test it out. So hopefully it's enjoyable and works well. Then finally, I guess the last thing that I should talk about is the server's been updated, and the only other stuff that I've done outside of pretty much building and waiting for materials to grow and being away and unable to do additional recording or being too tired to log in from, busy days. We did some trial chambers before I left, and I was able to get a few heavy cores. I ended up getting 4 of these things. I gave 1 away, made 2 maces, and I still have 1 extra. So I've just been holding on to that. Now, I am not very good at fighting, so I have not had much success trying to use this thing yet, but we've got a few guys over here. So I was thinking maybe I'd give this 1 more shot to see if I can do something with it. Now, they're already angry at me, so it's going to take me a moment to figure out from what angle to approach them. So let me see. Maybe if I can get over to that mushroom. I'm going to fly over there. And then we'll see if maybe I can actually hit these guys. Now, some stuff that the hermit said when I was watching them play with the cores is basically aim at the feet. So we're going to go ahead and... Awesome! Haha, I did it. Okay. And I guess... Do I try again? Oh, that was not good. Hey. It's fun. All right, cool. So yeah, it works well aiming at feet, I guess, instead of trying to aim at the head. Gets the timing right, I guess. So I'll definitely be trying to play with this a little bit more. And that was actually why I was holding a couple of armor stands here, is I thought I'd be using that to kind of show it off, but instead those guys showed up. So that was good timing on their part. I look like a pincushion. Anyway, I need to make a day real quick. So yeah, I guess they had some good timing showing up when they did, so I actually got to fight them instead of just hitting some armor stands. But I'm still going to do that. I thought that was a pretty cool mechanic that I saw one of the other Echoes doing, was they set up some armor stands, and they were practicing with their mace on those. So let me go ahead and throw those out, and I'll show that real quick. All right, well, I guess this is one good use for having a giant statue in your base. Let's see if I can actually hit this armor stand. Probably not going to go well, but let's give it a try. Whoa. That was sitting right there, and now that's clear over there. And I actually landed that. That was pretty cool. And yes, that was actually my first try doing that, and it worked. And I still got an arrow in my... Where is that? In my neck. Yeah, that was my first try actually jumping from up top there, and I landed it. So that was cool. And no, I'm not lying. I really did do that. That was my first attempt. So pretty cool. I'm definitely going to have to play with this some more, and I'm going to have to do some trial chambers and get the other enchantment, I think it's Windburst enchantment, so that instead of just landing flat and doing a bunch of damage and sending other things flying, I can actually bounce back up in the air, and I can practice maybe doing some combos. I think that would be really fun to set up an area where you can do some combos, maybe do some redstone to do some water streams to move these armor stands back into position, and maybe you can try and see like how many times you can hop to the next one and get across a course, kind of similar to parkour, except you're using a mace and trying to stay airborne. So that's an idea. But anyway, I think that's enough for this episode. I really need to get one out because I haven't had one out for too long. So I'm going to wrap things up here, and I want to just say thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the episode and the progress that we've made building our shop and also expanding our base a little bit. And if you did enjoy it, go ahead and hit that like button, maybe leave a comment, and I'll catch you next time. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Bye, everybody.